Easiest, most simple way to catch a fish. You get one, baby?
I did.
You had to pull him out of the grass?
There we go.
He was probably the one that snatched at my chatterbait earlier.
Probably. It's a good size one.
Good job, baby. Oh, don't lose your fish. Did he break it? Break the line?
He broke the line.
Grab him by the head. Hold that fish. Hold that fish. Pinch that fish hard. Look how fat he is. Show the camera that. On the Ned rig. Turn his belly towards the camera. Look how fat he is. He is eating up good. I bet he weighs 2 pounds. He's only supposed to be a 1 pounder.
Is it good?
Let me fix your Ned rig for you. It looks funny.
I told you it looked funny, but it worked.
He must like funny things. The old Ned rig. Can't beat the Ned rig. There you go. Now you're all set up, babe.
Okay, thank you.
Now if you learn how to tie a knot,
I did.
you
It
might
broke it.
You might not lose any fish.
I didn't lose him. I caught him.
He broke your knot. That's why I can tell, because it your knot's not still on the head, the jig head. Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff, shimmy, shimmy, right. All right, easiest way I know. Stupid. Ow! Stupid sharp. Stupid. Stupid me. All right. In one way, back through again the same way, then come around the main line 4 or 5 times. Do. Getting boring. Tying knots is boring. People don't like it. Wet down the knot. Grab the hook. Tighten the knot down. Simple, easy peasy. Cut off the excess. And you want it weightless. You don't want any weights on there. You take Mr. Worm here. In this case, Strike King Shimmy Stick. Essentially a Senko. Green pumpkin. Green pumpkin's one of the best colors. Green pumpkin, watermelon, red flake is also awesome. Alright, doesn't really matter where you rig it at because it doesn't have any action like flappies on it. What you want to do, put that hook down the worm to about there, about a 1/4 inch, then come out. Simple. Push it up the hook. You got this is called an offset worm hook, and the offset is right there, and that's where you push it up the offset. So you see how it sits there? That's like a hanger. And you take your hook, measure your worm to your hook, see where the work. You see right here, right there is where that hook needs to go into the bait. Straight, and then back at an straight through, and then back at an angle. If I can do it right. I can't seem to do anything right today. I'm having all kinds of problems. All right, then that's through. You want to take your bait, push it back towards, and then back over the hook like that. That's simple. That's easy. That's a worm. I'm just using a bigger version of what my wife's using. I'll see if I can cast this thing without backlashing my spool really bad. See that? That's where it wants to backlash. I'll just let that sit, and I'll just calmly walk my backlash out. And when you have weightless stuff, that tends to happen with these. Not much you can do about it. And the power in this thing is where it just floats. Turn the brakes all the way up, turn the tension knob up so it hardly wants to fall, because that when you cast it, it'll do the rest. It's simple. Watch the line, because that thing's just slowly falling. If that line starts moving, then I know I got a fish. That's simple. Give it a couple pops, something's on it, and just like that, I caught a fish. That's how easy a Senko can be catching a fish. 1 to 1. Yeah, that's how simple bass fishing can be. You can overcomplicate it and use a bunch of different techniques. line, hook, worm. I learned this last year. This is how I started out. I cast out, let it sit. Now watch that line. What I mean by let it sit is let it sink. It slowly sinks, and that drives me crazy. Okay, and I give it about 4, 5, 6 seconds, about enough time for me to talk to you guys on here. And then I'll give it a pop like that. Look at that. Get another one with the Ned rig, baby. You get that fish. You get that fish. Don't let him dog you.
Smaller though.
Yeah. Well, that's the price you pay with the Ned rig and these worms. Yeah, they about anything will bite them. I don't use this technique very much. My wife loves the Ned rig. It's one of the easiest ways to catch a fish. This and the Ned rig. I don't think you can beat it. Well, I think you got all the action over here. I'm going to try it out over here. I'm going to see if I can catch me one in your area here. Hey, you're always casting in my spot after I catch a fish. Why can't I do the same?
Because you are a thief.
I am not a thief. Stealing fish is not a thing. You can't really call it stealing.
Really? You stole one right from knowing what I was going for. You took it anyway.
We both seen that fish chasing bait. We both went after it, and I won. He wanted my bait more than he wanted yours. Oh, I got one. Little fella. Oh, that poor little fella, he's gonna be blind. Yeah, he ain't happy. I can't blame him. Oh, you get to keep that eye, dude. You're a lucky sucker. I bet that hurts though. Worm fishing, simple, easy, effective. And it's not that expensive compared to like some of the baits I throw, like the chatter baits and all them. Chatter baits $5, and you got to spend $5 on the soft plastics to go with it. Then you're $10 in, not counting your line, your pole, and all that. These worms are what, like $4? And I spent like $2 on the hooks. So essentially, it's like $3 cheaper to throw this, and he'll catch a fish all day long. All day long. All year long. Ned rig and this rig. All weightless worm. All year long. I stole one of my wife's fish, by the way.
Not happy.
Oh yeah. Well, you found where all the good ones are at, you know?
Well, that doesn't mean come over and have. I didn't.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to contribute to the video here and how to catch fish. You get another one? Or are you just reeling it through some grass? Yep, simple. Watch your line. Let it sink. Give it 4 or 5 seconds, maybe longer. Sometimes you just let it sit there forever and I'll come by and see it and pick it up. But I like to, I know when that line goes slack like it just did, that it's on the bottom. So I'll just give it a little pop. And sometimes even on that pop, that's when they'll nail it. It's either the pop or the fall. If you're a person that's not like, if you're not an impatient person, this is kind of the deal for you. Like a jig, that's good for a person that's not very impatient. If you're an impatient person, you want to be running moving baits, spinner baits, lipless crankbaits, chatter baits, anything that moves. This fishing right here, this is just throw it out there, let it sink. Might have to take this to another spot, see if we can get a few more. I'm going to jerk this thing in. And this is how you work a jerk bait too. This is how I learned to work a jerk bait. You can learn to work a jerk bait by using a weightless worm. And no, you don't need a $40 rod. No, you don't need a $60 reel. You could do it with what my wife was using. You could use a kid's rod, but you just want to make sure you're not using it around some of the worst stuff like around here. Like my wife, that rod right there is meant for Ned rig. It only has like 4 pound, I think it's 6 pound line on it. 6 pound line on it. That's about as light as you want to go. I use 17 pound fluorocarbon Seagar, but that's $24 a roll, and you know that's pretty expensive. You can get monofilament for like 15 pound, 12 pound for like what, $8 I think it is. Yeah, $7, $8. You don't necessarily need the gear like I use in order to catch fish with these. You could use your catfish rod.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready. We'll see you guys in the next spot.